Disclaimer, the following pairings are very ew, yuck, gross, yucky. Please proceed with this in mind. So I'm not a huge fan of batcest in general, which is basically couples with only the bat family members inside of them. But I like some canon ones like Tim Drake x Stephanie Brown or Bruce Wayne x Selina Kyle. And I like those too. And I can even appreciate the ones that are kind of hot if I really think about it, like Dick J. So Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, whatever. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, like me, I'm just saying I can appreciate. But what are some of the worst batcest couples out there? What make me want to throw up at the mere mention of them? What even retconned are still utterly disgusting, to the point where it's like, what in your mind thought that this was okay? Well, I thought long and hard. I even looked around for some inspiration, and oh my god, strap yourself in and keep a bucket or a plastic bag handy, because by the end of this video you might need that ish. You might need that ish. And check out my description if you have any time later on. So my key is just so that I know how I'm going to be ordering this list. Well, it's based off a psychology study like it usually is. So according to Orengo Aguayo in 2015, I'm so sorry for the pronunciation, most studies on relationship satisfaction and quality has been conducted exclusively with married couples, and that informed me to not actually use any psychology studies in my key. Instead, let's keep this nice and simple. The more wrong reasons I can find for the couple, the higher they go on the list. That's the key. Starting with number 5, Jason and Babs. Alright, so it's that ship that is just a little off because it's supposed to be Dick and Babs. It's just a little funky, and you're like, oh, I feel like you got the wrong Robin here. I think you made a mistake, right? Because that's the wrong Robin. Like, that's the kind of vibe this gives me, right? And if you don't get it, if you're kind of like, why is this even on the list? Like, top 5, like, why is this even number 5 in the list? Like, it should be nowhere near as high as this. Here's some reasons why it's just wrong. First of all, they have a work relationship. They are supposed to be professionals. They're on the job working together. Batgirl and Robin, or Oracle and Red Hood, they're supposed to be working. So how is this romantic relationship even ethical? The second reason why this is wrong is, I don't think Jason is currently in the right frame of mind to be dating anyone from the past. I mean, most of the iterations of Jason we're seeing after the pit, and whether he's reconciled or not, isn't the most stable to be dating someone who was part of the time he is struggling to still accept. Another reason why it's wrong is they met when Jay was 13 and she was in her early 20s. Imagine being in your early 20s. I am in my early 20s, but imagine just someone in their early 20s meeting someone 13 and that's the person they end up dating. I mean, listen, now childhood friends exist for a reason, and that's fair enough, growing up with people, but that's the thing, growing up with them, not growing up away from them. She is nowhere near his age. So it's like, oh, like, you saw him when he was 13 and now you want to bone. Like, are you serious? That is there's something funky about that. And on that topic, a fourth reason is, the age gap. It's not catastrophically massive. It's 5 to 10 years, but it's not comfortable either. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. It's a bit awkward. It's a bit too much. A fifth reason that we really need to be getting on the track, a fifth reason, is that it's sad. I mean, it is just sad. And the reason why it is sad is because Dick and Babs, either they are dating or they did date. Regardless, it's sad because Jason is being treated like sloppy seconds, like a rebound, like just for both of them. It's just awkward and sad. And then not just sad, number 6 is that it's immoral. I mean, come on, Dick is Jason's brother at the most, or at the very least his friend or ex-friend or whatever you want to consider it. Dude, that is immoral. You don't date your brother's ex, you don't date your friend's ex. It's not okay. It's immoral on either counts. But that's only number 5. There are 4 more, and I'm telling you this now, you will feel nauseous by the end of this video. Because if you thought this was bad, Just wait, okay? Just wait. Number 4, the classic, the well-known no relationship nobody wanted ever when they watched or read The Killing Joke. I watched it, I read some panels, I was so mad. And also Batman Beyond, and also in the Batman animated series, Bruce Timm, he made Bruce and Babs exist to the point of where I had to put it as number 4. I'm trying to not just go ew to explain why this shouldn't work, because I feel like people, you won't get it, and so I need to explain, I need to validate and show why I'm putting it as number 4. So here's my reasons for number 4, Bruce and Babs, why this just needs to not exist ever. So first of all, again, work relationship. They've had a work relationship, mentor mentee, boss assistant kind of vibes. They have had that from the jump, from the very beginning. It's awkward, it's not right. You're not supposed to be dating your mentor in the first place. That's not, it's not correct. It creates this weird power balance. Secondly, they met when she was 15 and he was in his mid to late 20s. That is concerning. I mean, if you're in your mid to late 20s, older than me, then you shouldn't be meeting someone 15 and then later on consider dating them. I feel like that 15-year-old should be in your mind always, forever. You should just never approach them. There are so many other people in the world to be approaching. That's not somebody you need to be approaching. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then the next related point is the age gap, how big the age gap is in general. 10 to 15 years is too big. 10 to 15 years, no matter how far down you go in a relationship, that's testing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like, age is a number, but 5 to 10, which is what Jason and Babs had, like I said, it's not completely detrimental, but 10 to 15, come on, that's a lot, dude. You gotta relax yourself. Then of course, the next thing is that as your friend's daughter and your son's ex-girlfriend, or current girlfriend, depending on the iteration, it's just, it's not moral, it's immoral, it's not necessary, it's not needed, it's really weird. So that was 2 reasons, actually, the friend's daughter and the son's ex/current girlfriend. And then we have number 6, which is the grooming. This is a textbook definition, I'm pretty sure, of grooming a child that he was supposed to be mentoring. It is inappropriate, it's very, very awful and unethical and immoral and disgusting and just disgusting. And then character assassination, which is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's... I don't think Bruce Wayne's gonna be doing that. I'm sorry. No, I think he has control, and I think that in most cases he would never even think of her in that way. And I think that by making him think of her in that way is just changing his character into this toxic, disgusting kind of predator. And it's a character assassination if I've ever seen one. So that's 7 reasons why Bruce and Babs is an awful bat-cess couple that I hate it. But note how this very popular ship is number 4. Because you didn't think. You thought this was number 1, didn't you? I know you did. When you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you thought, it's going to be Bruce and Babs. I've got some more for you. I have some more to show you. Let me just tell you this now. So without further ado, let's move on to number 3. So Dick and Damian. You didn't think I'd go there, did you? I said the worst, okay? I said the worst. We needed to think about the worst of the worst, and I'm trying to present that to you right now, okay? So it's another one where it's kind of like, very obviously, you would have been enough. But I need to give you the reasons. Because like I said, I need to justify why it is at this placement, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So first of all, the sexuality, all right? Dick is not bi, Damian is not bi or pan or gay or whatever. There's just no canon confirmation. So both of their sexualities are being misrepresented here. Second, they met when Damian was 13 and Dick was in his late 20s. If that's not weird, then I don't know what is. 13, guys. Can we think about meeting someone when they were 13 and you're in your late 20s? Like, very weird, very funky, very strange, just not right. And then dating them later on, it's just very weird. Thirdly is the big age gap. 10 to 15 years. It's the same thing I was talking about before. 10 to 15 years is just a bit too big, but just a bit too big to be able to say, oh, that's fine, that's normal. Do you know what I mean? Dami shouldn't be dating. That's my fourth point. Because I can't lie to you, Dami isn't really in the place right now, or at least it does depend on how far along his progress you get to. I'm thinking when he just joins, or within a few years of him joining. I don't think he's actually at that point where he should be dating someone. He's not mentally well enough, or kind of understanding social situations best enough so he can actually be in a full committed relationship without hurting himself or the other person in the process. Then a fifth point is that they have a working relationship. So, you know, Batman and Robin, they were Batman and Robin. Then there's Nightwing and Robin. Then there is the sibling relationship they have, which is, you know, Dick being Damian's older brother. It's very freaky, very weird. Obviously they're not related, but it's still very strange of a dynamic to have someone you consider your brother to also be somebody you're dating, especially like legally. You know, if Bruce adopts Dick when he's like in his 30s or late 20s, which is like the time when he adopts him canonically, they're legally also siblings, so it's just like it's just very messy. The seventh reason is the grooming. So technically Dick would be grooming Damian, especially if it was developing during the time that Bruce was gone. So he'd be grooming a vulnerable kid who just lost his dad, or a vulnerable child who had his dad with him, depending on the timeline, what time we're talking about, and taking advantage of him to manipulate him. My eighth point is that it messes up Damian's already messed up understanding of intimacy and stunts his growth, his social emotional growth in general. So, you know, Damian grew up with this weird relationship his mum had with Bruce, this very distant, very non-reciprocal relationship that his mum already has with Bruce. And so Damian doesn't have an example of a relationship that's very healthy in his mind of what an intimate romantic relationship will look like, and this will mess it up even more if Dick is like taking advantage of him in this really fucked up way, and it will stunt his growth, and he won't even understand what a relationship should look like or how he should conduct himself in the future, especially because usually when they're interacting, they are, you know, Damian's a tween, he's an early teenager, and Dick is already this adult, right? And so it's gonna have a big influence on Damian's growth and development as a teenager and in his adolescence, and change him as a person fundamentally. And then the ninth reason is it's a character assassination. Damian is messed up, so maybe he would just take anything from anyone, but Dick, dude, there is no way Dick Grayson would ever engage in this kind of relationship. It is destroying any morality that Dick Grayson is supposed to have. It's insane. I can't even express how messed up it would be for Nightwing or Dick Grayson to do this. Like, it just completely ruins his character, and it's just not accurate at all. Like, he would never ever do this. That's 9 reasons for Dick and Damian to not be shipped together. I don't understand how anybody could even consider this like as a ship. But there's worse. And you might be starting to catch the trend here. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. So number 2 is Dick and Bruce and Dick. I'll tell you the reasons, but again, just an ew would suffice. I feel like ew full stop. Okay, whoa. Yeah, so first thing wrong is that it proves the media right. You know, nobody wants that. People were talking about it and thinking that this is the reason why Bruce wanted Dick in his house. And I feel like the idea of proving the media right, just the most lightest but still reason why this relationship is just a mess. Next, is just sexuality is wrong. I don't think it'd be accurate. The third part is the friendship element of their relationship. So they have a friendship quite early on, kind of this I get you, you get me kind of relationship, especially with their parents both dying. So that relationship makes it weird if they then turn it into a romantic relationship. It kind of makes it sad. It kind of ruins it. That's number 3. And number 4 is the work aspect of their relationship. They are like the big first partnership in Gotham that we saw. You know, the first mentor-mentee relationship that we get to see in Gotham. So it would be quite unfortunate if their relationship was then taken to romantic side, because it would just make it so that this iconic dynamic duo now has a weird subplot going on underneath it. Then number 5, the 5th reason, why would be that they have a sibling relationship kind of as well. So after the friendship, I think they became more like sibling. So it was like a brotherly bond in a sense. Then I feel like breaching that and going into the romantic relationship, even if they're not related, is still very funky, very weird, very strange. So the sixth reason is the age gap is big. Same as before, it's about 10 to 15 years. And it's just funky. No one likes it. No one likes it. Next reason is that they met when Dick was 9 and Bruce was in his early 20s. That, I think, is the most concerning age we've had so far in this list. 9 years old and you're in your early 20s. That person is forever a child. I don't care how old they get. I don't care when they're 55. You met them when they were 9. That's not okay. You cannot ever see them as a romantic partner. I don't care how hot they look. Listen, I know Dick Grayson is like drop dead gorgeous, and I know Bruce is canonically hot as well, but can we please keep it in? Next reason is the grooming. I mean, it's very obvious. Grooming a vulnerable kid who just lost his parents. He is in a vulnerable position. He has like maybe one or two other people to rely on, but Bruce is Dick's primary caregiver, and Dick has to rely on Bruce in this trying time where he has no other parents. And so this kind of romantic relationship would only mean grooming. Like that would be the meaning or the reason why Bruce took him in, and that would just make it very, very strange. Next is, after that sibling relationship, what did it develop into? I'm pretty sure you guys all know. I'm pretty sure it's very obvious. A parental relationship. And that's another point, because that parental relationship is even worse than the friendship, the work relationship, the sibling relationship. It is your adopted dad, okay? And having a romantic relationship with him is just, it's despicable. It's disgusting. It is not appropriate. It is inappropriate. It is awful. It is just nasty. It doesn't even matter if they're related or not. Again, I've said this already. It's just nasty. It's incestuous. It needs to leave. It's such an abuse of power. It's such a twisted way of viewing adoption and newfound family and all this nonsense. It's just disgusting. It's awful. Next is how much it messes up his pre-existing understanding of intimacy and stunts his growth. Contrary to the previous one with Dick and Damian, Dick actually has a good pre-existing understanding of intimacy. His family, his mom and dad, very loving. They love him very much. They loved each other very much. Very intimate, very wholesome, very reciprocal. And so it wouldn't be like how Dick ruined Damian's already ruined understanding of intimacy. This would be Bruce ruining Dick's good understanding of intimacy, and that would stunt Dick's emotional and social growth and everything and development, because like I said, they met when he was 9, and so that means Bruce would have access and they would have this romantic relationship throughout his childhood and his tweenhood and his teenagehood and adolescence. It would be disgusting and awful, and it would ruin Dick's ability to even date, and it would just completely change him. And another reason is that it's a character assassination that assassinates all other character assassinations. For Dick, he would just be the victim at that point. So I don't even want to say it's an assassination on Dick's part, even though it would be. But for Bruce, it would be disgusting. It would just ruin any semblance of him being a hero. Like, this isn't even child soldier bad. This seems like almost worse. It would mean that he would never have somewhere safe to be at home, and he would be delusionally thinking that he and Bruce has an intimate relationship. So it would just, no. And the last point, the 12th reason why Bruce and Dick being in a relationship would suck and be awful and immoral and stupid and disgusting and awful, and please get your bag so that you're not throwing up already, is that it would affect every child he might get, as either they're seeing this or they are also being touched by Bruce. So Bruce would either be showing this funky relationship and affecting them negatively, or they would also be getting abused by him. Oh my god. Yeah. Nobody wanted this video. Did anyone want this video? This isn't even a fun video. Like, this is just... Please don't report this video. Please. Okay. So, that's number 2. And we do have a number 1, which is worse than this. You might be able to guess. You might not be able to guess. I understand when they're aged up that these relationships are seen differently. But I'm intentionally showing you the worst of how they can be interpreted, so that you know how wrong they are, even if they are aged up. So I understand visually, like, some of these relationships look nice, but actually reading them, actually writing them, actually, I'm judging you. Creators who are making these relationships, I'm judging you. But for the last one though, I'm not just judging you, I'm worrying about you. I'm considering reporting and calling the emergency services to find you, because this number one is Bruce and Alfred. And if you are actually writing these, drawing this kind of relationship, for these reasons, you are insane. For these reasons, I am concerned. So Bruce and Alfred, the same point as the previous one, it proves the media right, but in a different way, you know, different times. We're to assume that there's been maybe 10-15 years between when Bruce and Alfred first become dependent on each other, compared to Dick and Bruce. So let's say that Dick was taken in I don't know, 2010, and then Alfred became Bruce's guardian in like 2000s. Obviously in the 2000s, proving the media right is even worse, because there's more conservative opinions, there's more things about how strange it is for a single man to take in a child and stuff. And this is a big case. This would be a big case, you know, Bruce Wayne and Alfred. It's even a bigger case than the circus child who lost his family. And so this is a massive media case in a more sensitive time. And so proving the media right is just so bad for reputation in the media for single parents and things, to show that the reason why Alfred takes Bruce in, or a factor, is because he is romantically involved with him. Anyways, okay. The second point, sexuality is wrong. Again, Bruce is not shown to be bi or anything, according to what I've seen, and Alfred certainly isn't either. So it's getting their sexuality wrong. First reason why it's god awful, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Is that Alfred's friends and boss's son is Bruce now. So it just makes it really strange. You know, it makes it really weird that you would date your friend and boss's son in the first place. Like, it's just not something, you know, good or natural. It's kind of like, it's just a bit funky, I can't lie. It's just a bit funky. Next is they have a work relationship, because, you know, Alfred is working as Bruce's butler, and he is helping him throughout his life with different things like hoovering and cleaning the house, and so his housekeeper as well, and things like that. And it's just a very strange relationship to corrupt, and to change that relationship into a romantic one is just a bit unethical. You know, you don't usually date your butler or your housekeeper or your maid. It doesn't frequently happen. Yet, so the fifth reason is that, see, with the others, they met when they were like, you know, 15, 13, you know, 9. Bruce and Alfred met when Bruce was born. Cuckoo gaga. Alfred met Bruce when Bruce was an infant. That's a big reason why this is the top of the list. That's not okay. That's not okay. You can't be in your big old 20, 30, however old he was, seeing a baby and later date that baby. Listen, that's not okay. No. Number 6. Evidently, there's a massive age gap. At best, it's 20 years. At worst, it's around 30 something years. Okay, that's not okay. That's not daijoubu, alright? That is not appropriate at all. Dude, it doesn't matter how old they get. Like, if Bruce is 30, Alfred is 50 to 60 years old. That's not okay. That's like 3 generations difference. Another reason is the parental relationship side of it. In the early days of Bruce's parents' death, he was still kind of playing that butler role, but then he slowly but surely had to play that guardian role. You know, he had to be that parental role. As he refers to Bruce as his son. Bruce is literally his son, and that element of that side of their relationship makes it really, really weird to consider that being turned into a romantic relationship, especially if Bruce is being called a son by Alfred, that is really, really strange. The next reason is the grooming of a vulnerable child who just lost his parents and only has you in the manor. So compared to Dick, who just lost his parents, Dick had Alfred. So it wasn't just Bruce, even though Bruce was the primary caregiver. In comparison to that, Alfred is the only one in the house. And so this grooming is more intense, this grooming is more creepy, this grooming is more dangerous, because Bruce was even more vulnerable in that sense compared to Dick. And another one is how messed up his understanding of intimacy will become. Bruce, like Dick, he understands what intimacy is like. His parents loved each other and they loved him too, and so he gets it. And so again, a good understanding of intimacy is destroyed, and it stunts his emotional growth, his social growth, everything, and Bruce does not need to be stunted even more. Another reason is it's simply worse than pedophilia. I mean, it is not even pedophilia. Before it was like, oh well, obviously it's kind of, you know, pedophilic if, you know, but this is worse than pedophilia, and I don't know how you could possibly be worse than pedophilia. Another thing is like character assassination. Bruce this time is the victim, so he, you know, character assassination is questionable. Like, what, he it's a character assassination for him to be a victim? Well, not really. He was a victim with his parents, whatever. What is a character assassination the most is Alfred, who has not really pursued any kind of romantic relationship much, except for maybe with Leslie and maybe somebody else in some kind of other side plot or whatever. So the idea of him getting out of this self-inflicted chastity for a child that he was tasked to look after by Bruce's dead parents, that is so unrealistic, and so it just ruins Alfred's character. It makes him a creepy guy. It almost makes him like a villain, you know, and that's just really disappointing. Another reason, the penultimate reason of why this is wrong, why this is awful, why this is the top of the list, is because it likely changes the future of this universe for the worse. You might want to keep Bruce alone. Like in other toxic relationships where they try to isolate their partner, there's a point to be said that Alfred might actually decide to isolate Bruce, and so it means that he doesn't actually ever branch out and ever make any other relationships with other people because he only has Alfred. He only needs Alfred. That would change things. It would mean that he'd very unlikely to adopt anybody else, and it's very unlikely he'd even talk to Superman and other people and make the Justice League with the others, and it would just change a lot of future in the universe where Bruce actually has to have social relations to move forward and make these plot points happen, even though it's not very common for him to do. And the last reason, the 13th reason that Alfred and Bruce is the worst Batcest couple to exist is because Alfred is likely to abuse Bruce's wards and kids as well. If you have this habit with somebody else, with Bruce, is likely he would do that or think that or be that way with anybody else Bruce would bring into the house if he wasn't being isolated by Alfred, and that is just disgusting. That's it. That's the last one. I'm sorry. If you retched in your bin, let me know. Let me know. At this point, it's like a challenge. What do you think? You just watched a video that nobody requested, nobody asked for. So I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts. Please let me know down below. If you want to watch my other Batfamily videos, they're not as bad as this, but some of them are similarly bad, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Check it out, and then I say a quirky goodbye. Janyong. Why did I even come up with this? I'm not even happy. Why did I make this video?